Well, do you guys have to go to the new house right away, or do you have some time? We got some time.
One of them later admitted he couldn't remember filming 3 entire seasons of the show. Another walked away from Hollywood completely and said it was the best decision he ever made. And you know what's even crazier? Friends was almost called Insomnia Cafe. NBC nearly passed on it entirely. The pilot tested as just okay. And then, for 10 years, 6 people on an orange couch became the most watched thing on the planet. Behind that couch were addictions hidden behind punchlines, grief that no laugh track could touch, and one of them who didn't make it to the other side. Here's what really happened to the people who made you believe in that apartment in New York. Number 1. Lisa Kudrow as Phoebe Buffay. All 10 seasons. The one who was never supposed to be funny. She was the strangest person in the room. Lisa Kudrow played Phoebe Buffay with fearless, specific commitment and almost wasn't Phoebe at all. Originally cast as Roz in Frasier and Let Go. A neuroscience degree from Vassar. 31 years old when Friends began. Not what Hollywood had in mind. But here's where it gets really interesting, because after Friends, Kudrow created The Comeback, an HBO mockumentary canceled after 1 season and brought back 9 years later when the world caught up. Emmy winner in 2015. She has been married to the same man since 1995. In 2026, Lisa Kudrow is 62 years old. Still the most surprising person in any room she walks into. Phoebe Buffay was the one nobody fully understood, but everybody needed. Lisa Kudrow turned out to be exactly that, a woman Hollywood underestimated every single time, who kept making something brilliant out of the doubt. But while Kudrow built something quietly extraordinary, Courteney Cox did the opposite. She held on, chased the franchise, and what happened to her in the years that followed was more painful than she ever let the cameras see. Number 2. Courteney Cox as Monica Geller. All 10 seasons. The one who held on too tight. She was the one who kept everything together. Courteney Cox was originally asked to play Rachel. She pushed for Monica instead. She saw something in that hunger, that need to be seen, that felt more true. She was right. After Friends, she married David Arquette, had a daughter, and divorced after 11 years. She has spoken candidly about the loneliness of that period. But there is more, because Cox later spoke openly about stopping cosmetic procedures entirely. "I literally had to have them removed," she said. She looked in the mirror and didn't recognize herself. The pressure to stay young in Hollywood had led her somewhere she didn't want to be. In 2026, Courteney Cox is 61 years old, living in Malibu, and by her own description looking like herself again. Monica Geller was always trying to be enough. Courteney Cox spent years after Friends learning that the trying was the problem, and that letting go was the hardest thing she ever did. But Matt LeBlanc did something almost no one in Hollywood ever does. He played Joey again in a spin-off that failed publicly and then disappeared on purpose. Number 3. Matt LeBlanc as Joey Tribbiani. All 10 seasons. The one who disappeared on purpose. He was the lovable one. Matt LeBlanc played Joey Tribbiani with such warmth you never had to think too hard about him. When Friends ended, he agreed to reprise Joey in a spin-off. 2 seasons. Significant failure. He was 39, had more money than he could spend, and he simply stopped. By his own account, he stayed home, rode motorcycles, and watched his daughter Marina diagnosed with a rare neurological condition as a toddler grow and recover. But suddenly something happened, because when he came back, it was as a fictionalized version of himself in the British series episodes from 2011 to 2017, Golden Globe nominations. The most interesting work of his career. Almost nobody in America watched it. In 2026, Matt LeBlanc is 58 years old. He farms, he races cars. He says he is completely at peace with being done. Joey Tribbiani spent 10 years trying to make it. Matt LeBlanc spent 10 years after Friends learning that the most radical thing he could do was simply not want anything from Hollywood anymore. But David Schwimmer walked into one of the most uncomfortable positions in Hollywood. The actor everyone loves on screen who can't find the same magic anywhere else. And what he did about it was more courageous than anyone gave him credit for. Number 4. David Schwimmer as Ross Geller. All 10 seasons, the one who went back to the stage. He was the first of the 6 to be cast. Ross was written with him in mind. David Schwimmer was already a respected stage actor in Chicago before Friends began, and when it ended, he went back to exactly that. He co-founded the Looking Glass Theater Company in 1988, 6 years before the show. It is still running. When Hollywood wasn't offering what he wanted, he built what he needed instead. But here's where it gets really interesting, because in 2016, Schwimmer played Robert Kardashian in The People v. O.J. Simpson and reminded everyone he was a genuinely serious actor. Layered, haunted, and nothing like Ross Geller. In 2026, David Schwimmer is 59 years old, still directing, still performing. He has never pretended Friends was anything other than the thing that changed his life. Ross Geller was always the one who cared too much and showed it too plainly. David Schwimmer turned out to be the same way, a man who loved the craft more than the fame, and kept going back to the work even when the world wasn't watching. But the biggest star to come out of Friends paid a price for that fame that she has only recently started to speak about honestly. Number 5. Jennifer Aniston as Rachel Green. All 10 seasons. The one the world wouldn't let move on. She was 25 when the pilot filmed and had done almost nothing before it. Her father reportedly urged her to give up acting. And then the tabloids turned her life into a parallel soap opera for 20 years. The Brad Pitt marriage, the divorce, the narrative that painted her as the woman left behind. A story she has said, repeatedly and with obvious pain, was largely invented. She has spoken about fertility treatments and the loneliness of having her choices discussed by strangers for 2 decades. But there is more because Jennifer Aniston kept building. The morning show on Apple TV Plus has earned her Emmy nominations. She lost her father in 2022. In 2026, Jennifer Aniston is 57 years old, still here, still on her own terms. Rachel Green reinvented herself every time the world told her she couldn't. Jennifer Aniston has been doing exactly that quietly, relentlessly, for 30 years. But the story that casts a shadow over everything, the one that changes how you watch every episode, now belongs to Matthew Perry, who spent 10 seasons making the world laugh while fighting a battle so brutal that most of his closest friends had no idea how close to the edge he really was. Number 6. Matthew Perry as Chandler Bing. All 10 seasons. The one who was fighting the whole time. He was the funniest one. Matthew Perry played Chandler Bing, the sarcastic deflector who turned every uncomfortable moment into a punchline because he was too frightened to let you see him clearly. He has said he cannot remember filming seasons 3 through 6, 3 entire years of the most successful show on Earth, gone. Up to 55 Vicodin a day. At his lowest point, cast members could tell from the size of his pupils when he walked on set how bad that day was going to be. But there is more because Perry fought back. Rehab, relapse, sobriety. Again, he converted his Malibu home into a sober living house for men and funded it himself. In October 2022, he published his memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, with an honesty that shocked even people who thought they knew his story. And then, on the 28th of October 2023, Matthew Perry was found unresponsive at his Los Angeles home. He was 54 years old. The cause of death was acute effects of ketamine. 5 people were charged. His castmates spoke publicly about grief they had been carrying for 30 years. Chandler Bing used humor to survive everything. Matthew Perry used it too, and it worked, until it didn't. He fought harder than most people ever knew, and he deserved more time than he got. But Friends was never just 6 people, and none of the recurring cast built the world more quietly or completely than James Michael Tyler, who stood behind a coffee counter for 10 years and never once let you forget he was there. Number 7. James Michael Tyler as Gunther. Seasons 1-10. The one who loved Rachel for 10 years and never said a word. He was supposed to be an extra. James Michael Tyler played Gunther, the central perk manager, with bleached hair and a decade-long unrequited love for Rachel. He had no lines in the pilot. He was background. And he was only cast because he was the only person on set who actually knew how to operate an espresso machine. He had a real job at a coffee shop. That was the reason he was there. But suddenly, something happened because in 2021, Tyler revealed he had been diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer in 2018. He had kept it private for 3 years. The cancer had spread to his bones. He appeared in the Friends reunion via video call, unable to travel. He spoke about it with calm and humor that felt entirely in keeping with who he was. On the 24th of October, 2021, James Michael Tyler passed away at the age of 59. Gunther spent 10 years loving someone who never quite saw him. James Michael Tyler spent his life showing up anyway and leaving quietly, exactly the way he arrived. But no recurring character on Friends was louder or more impossible to forget than Janice, and the woman behind that laugh turned out to be someone entirely different from the character the world remembered. Number 8, Maggie Wheeler as Janice. Recurring, the one with the laugh nobody could forget. Oh my God. Maggie Wheeler played Janice Chandler's on-again, off-again girlfriend with the nasal laugh and the uncanny ability to appear at the worst possible moment. Janice was the punchline, and Wheeler played her with such committed physicality that she became one of the most recognized characters in sitcom history. But here's where it gets really interesting, because Maggie Wheeler is nothing like Janice. She is measured, thoughtful, and deeply serious about her work. She plays multiple instruments, has performed in bands, and is a committed environmental activist. She has 4 children. In 2026, she is 63 years old and still does the laugh when people ask with genuine warmth, because she understands what it means to give someone a character they can hold on to. Janice was the woman everyone tried to get away from. Maggie Wheeler turned out to be someone you'd want to stay and talk to for hours. But the most unexpected post-Friends story from the supporting cast belongs to Tom Selleck, who arrived already one of the most famous men in America, and then did something in the final chapter of his career that almost nobody saw coming. Number 9, Tom Selleck as Dr. Richard Burke. Seasons 2, 6, the one who almost played Indiana Jones. He was the man Monica almost chose instead of Chandler. Tom Selleck played Dr. Richard Burke, charming, stable, achingly decent, with a gravitas that made every scene with Courteney Cox feel like a more serious show trying to break through. But you know what's even crazier? Selleck was the original choice to play Indiana Jones. He was cast. CBS refused to release him from Magnum P.I. Harrison Ford got the part. But there is more, because after Friends, Selleck spent over a decade as the lead of Blue Bloods on CBS, running from 2010 to 2024, 14 seasons. One of the most watched dramas on American television. Critics largely ignored it. The audience didn't care. In 2026, Tom Selleck is 81 years old, living on his avocado farm in California with his wife Jilly, married since 1987. Richard Burke was the man who showed up too late and loved too well. Tom Selleck turned out to be the opposite of Hollywood's idea of a career. A man who kept working, kept showing up, and kept finding audiences who were glad he did. Friends was never supposed to be what it became. It was 6 people in their 20s figuring out their lives in New York. Simple, something to watch on Thursday nights. Behind the orange couch were real people. People who dealt with addiction so severe they lost years of their own lives. Grief that no laugh track could soften. And the strange, relentless pressure of being loved by the entire world for playing someone else. 2 of them are gone now. The rest are still carrying the weight of what those 10 years meant, each in their own way, each on their own terms. And one of them spent the last years of his life trying to save other people from the thing that was quietly killing him. There is only one original Friends, and now you know what it really cost the people who made it.